Russian TV pundits here enjoying a joke at the expense of Joe Biden. In Russian state media's coverage of the US election, mockery has been almost entirely reserved for the former vice president. You'd be forgiven for thinking Russia is rooting for Trump.
The Kremlin prefers Trump because he is a very strong force that undermines the status quo that the Kremlin does not like.
BBC Monitoring's Russian media analyst Vitaly Shevchenko says that pro-Kremlin media have picked their favorite, not necessarily because they like him, but because of the potential benefit he could bring to Russia.
The main message is that America is failing, America is in chaos, and Russia and maybe China are taking America's place on the global stage.
Journalist Dmitry Kiselyov, often called Kremlin's propagandist-in-chief, sums it up by painting a vivid picture. America, he says, is like a respectable pastor who, towards the end of his career, starts turning up with his trousers undone, drunk and harassing female members of his flock. Officials in Iran have also not stated their preferences for the next US president. In fact, they often insist they don't really care. But the Iranian media coverage of the US election tells a different story. Every development gets covered in great detail. Trump's maximum pressure policy on Iran, following America's withdrawal from the nuclear deal in 2018, has had a devastating impact on the country's economy. In the eyes of its media, another 4 years of him in the White House would be disastrous for Iran, says Kian Sharifi from the BBC Monitoring Iran team.
The way the presenters talk about America, specifically Trump in this case, there is a sarcastic tone in the way they speak. There's a smirk on the presenters' faces because they just don't see Trump, or rather, they don't want people to believe that they see Trump as an accomplished politician.
Compared to both Russia and Iran, Chinese state media's preference for one of the candidates seems more subtle.
There are a lot of countries around the world, I think, would be
Joe Biden pointing the finger at Russia, not China, when it comes to interference in the US election has been keenly highlighted in state media. And Trump's anti-China rhetoric over the coronavirus has irked the nation. Kerry Allen is our Chinese media analyst.
I very much get the sense that Chinese would rather have Biden in power than Trump.
China has all along denied interfering in US affairs. But it does have what's known as the 50-cent party, people paid by the government to post messages on social media, typically Sina Weibo or WeChat. But lately, an increasing number of users from mainland China have been commenting on global platforms like YouTube, Twitter and Facebook.
Keep America great! Keep America great!
On YouTube, there was a video of a pro-Trump song. And suddenly this was flooded by social media comments with people from China calling Donald Trump Comrade Trump and saying they support him, that he'd be a great leader. And there was a lot of confusion about why this was happening.
China has more than 850 million social media users. If this really was smart trolling, as some suspect, it gives food for thought on the potential they could have to influence opinion on the global social media giants.